everybody in the Fun Do Science. You know, we all are dealing with classification of living organisms. Very quick revision about this. Now here, initially all living organisms were classified on the basis of the presence of cell wall by Linnaeus and Aristotle. As we have discussed in my previous videos, they are classified as plant and animal. Later on, with the advancement of technology, various other scientists tried to classify living organisms. Now, Whittaker was the one which convincingly classified living organisms into 5 kingdoms on the basis of the characteristics I have written here. The very first characteristic was the cell structure, whether organism is prokaryotic or eukaryotic. Body organization of a living organism, whether it is made up of one cell or unicellular or many cells, that is multicellular. Mode of nutrition, whether it can synthesize food on its own like photosynthesis, and they are autotroph. They depend on other organisms for their food requirement, heterotrophs, or they depend on dead organic matter for their nutritional requirement, that is saprophytic. Fourth point is reproduction method, whether the organism reproduce through spores, gametes, or some vegetative method of reproduction like fragmentation, as we have discussed, or phylogenetic relationship. That means from very simple organisms to the very complex organism and their linkage through evolution. What is the relationship between them by the evolution process or through the evolution process? So this was Whittaker's method or criteria for the classification, and he came up with 5 major kingdoms. Very first, Monera, then Protista, then fungi, plant and animal kingdom. Now Monera and Protista are the kingdoms which deals with unicellular organisms, and rest, fungi, plant and animal, they are multicellular organism. That is the very first characteristic which we have discussed. In this video, we are going to deal with Monera kingdom and details about it. Do you believe in ghost, भूत? जब मैं छोटी थी मुझे भूत नाम से बड़ा डर लगता था, तो मैंने एक दिन अपनी ग्रैंड पेरेंट को पूछा कि दादी एक बात बताइए, भूत होते हैं क्या? तो she was puzzled and she answered in a way, like she told me that there are 2 kinds of world, the world which we can see and the world which we cannot see. So don't try to explore the world which we cannot see. So I was like, okay, theek hai. Then I grew up. I took up the subject biotechnology, where I came to know about microbiology. Then I had an opportunity to explore that unseen world which we cannot see through our eyes. You know why we cannot see those tiny organisms which we call bacteria or viruses? That is because they are so tiny that between 2 rays of light it pass through, so that light ray cannot hit it and cannot reflect back to our eye, so we cannot see. Second reason is they are so tiny that their thickness is very thin and they are very transparent, so that light ray pass through it, even if it hits bacteria, but it pass through it because they are very transparent, so it cannot reach to our eyes. So we cannot see bacteria and viruses which are in millions and millions of number around us. So that is an unseen kingdom which we call Monera. Now Monera kingdom is considered as a kingdom of unicellular organisms, that means only one cell is present. Prokaryotic, that means primitive kind of cell. That means it has a cell wall, but they are primitive, like they are not having specific organelles inside the cell. मतलब सेल है, सेल वॉल है, लेकिन उसके अंदर जो है, जो भी मटेरियल प्रेजेंट है, न्यूक्लियस डिफाइंड नहीं है, उसके सेल ऑर्गेनल्स लाइक माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया डिफाइंड नहीं है, कोई भी ऑर्गेनल मेम्ब्रेन बाउंड नहीं है. दैट इज व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड एज प्रोकैरियोटिक kingdom, the kingdom of prokaryotes. These are two major characteristics. Now, usually they divide, reproduce through binary fission. That means one cell, it pinches and divides into two. This is binary fission. They reproduce like this and increase themselves in numbers. But when there is adverse condition, in that case they produce spores and they can survive. But apart from this major characteristic, common characteristics among all the members of the Monera kingdom, they are classified on the basis of various characteristics before they are finally classified by specific characteristic. So we will now discuss the classification based on various characteristics. Now, Monera kingdom, the very first we will take is classified on the basis of their cell shape. Okay, now here I have drawn few diagram. Here you can see this is rod shaped and this is circular spherical shape. Okay, so according to cell shape they are classified as rod shaped. If their shape is rod, they are called as bacillus or bacilli. If they are spherical in shape, then they are called as cocci or coccus. Apart from this, they are having the shape like this, which is called as spiral shaped. So if they are spiral shaped, they are called as spirally. One more shape I will tell you. You all have learned this shape in your English. This is comma shaped. So if they are comma shaped, they are called as vibrio. Okay. So these are four major shapes on the basis of which they are classified. Now we will see if they are single, then they are bacilli. Okay, if they are in pair of two, they are diplobacilli. They are diplobacilli. If they are in chain, then they are streptobacilli. And if they are in shape of grapes like cocci, this circle spherical is cocci. If they are in this shape like a bunch of grapes, they are staphylococci or staph. So terminology is like this. If single, then it is either bacilli or cocci. If double, then diplobacilli or diplococci. If in chain, then streptobacilli and streptococci. And if in grape shape, then it is staphylococci. Bacilli rarely present in bunch of grape shape. Now the second criteria for classification was taken on the basis of cell wall, and this classification was initiated and or given by Gram, a scientist. Gram was the scientist who took up the staining method for classification on the basis of cell wall. He took up the stain as a primary and secondary stain. Primary stain was coloring the cell wall of the bacteria into purple, and secondary stain was coloring it into pink. Now according to Gram, if a cell is taking primary stain and not leaving it, then the cell wall of that bacteria is protein rich and it is considered as Gram positive bacteria. Okay, because the cell wall is rich in peptidoglycan protein, as you can see in this diagram. The cell wall is taken purple color. So it is gram-positive bacteria. While if cell wall is not taking the primary stain and it is going for secondary stain, then in that case it is rich in lipoprotein or lipids, and it is called as gram-negative bacteria. As you can see here in this diagram, the stain is pink. So it is secondary stain which is taken by this bacteria. So this is gram-negative bacteria. So on the basis of the color of stain, the cell wall is taking, its nature is defined, whether it is rich in protein or rich in lipopolysaccharide, and it is classified as gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. The third kind of classification was based on the criteria of requirement of oxygen. So under the criteria of the requirement of oxygen, whether the bacteria is requiring oxygen for its survival or it can survive without oxygen also. So if bacteria is requiring oxygen for its survival, it is called as aerobic bacteria. And if it can survive without oxygen, then it is called as anaerobic bacteria. These were three major classification criteria when there was no electron microscopy present. Now, the fourth kind of classification of Monera kingdom was given by Woese in the form of domain, which we have discussed in my previous videos. You can refer my previous videos for this. Now, Woese, he classified Monera kingdom on the basis of the requirement of nutrition. So initially, as we have told, he classified Monera kingdom as Eubacteria and Archaea. Now, Eubacteria was again classified on the basis of the nutrition requirement, as autotrophic were the kind of bacteria which can synthesize their own food material. Autotrophic bacteria used light energy and do perform photosynthesis and synthesize their own food material. So they don't require anybody else for their food requirement. While there were some autotrophic bacteria which can use chemical energy. That means various kind of chemicals to synthesize their own food material. So they are also autotrophic. So they are chemoautotropic and these are photoautotropic. So photoautotropic are the ones which use light energy and chemoautotropic are the one which use chemical energy for their food requirement. Examples of photoautotropics I can say is various kind of microorganisms which are found in soil which fix nitrogen also, like nostoc which has heterocyst to fix nitrogen, and rest of the string it consists of chlorophyll pigment which can synthesize food by trapping light. While example of chemoisotropes are various kind of bacteria which degrade nitrites, nitrates or ammonia and synthesize their own food material. Eubacteria are having second class of bacteria which is called as heterotrophs. These heterotrophs, it includes all other bacteria which cannot synthesize their own food material. That means they are neither autotrophic, neither photoautotropic nor chemoautotropic. So all kind of bacteria, for example lactobacillus which is surviving on milk, lactose sugar of milk giving us curd, we know that. And at the same time we have nitrogen fixing rhizobium which is found in the roots in symbiotic relationship. Few more I will give you example. E. coli, very common, which is found in water. Again few more I will give. We have Vibrio cholerae, no, which gave us disease, cholera disease. Again, we have many more such kind of microorganisms which are not beneficial to us and they are harmful to us, which we call pathogens. So all the pathogens comes under the category of heterotrophs. Similarly, there are good bacteria also which gives us curd, which gives us various kind of fermented products, like mummy make idli and dosa, so it ferments, she ferments rice and dal. So that fermentation is due to these heterotroph bacteria. So they are good also and harmful also. Now we discuss a special kind of eubacteria which recently we discovered, and the thing is that this kind of eubacteria does not contain cell wall. Okay, and this eubacteria is called as mycoplasma. Mycoplasma is the smallest living organism we have observed till now. It do not have cell wall and it is pathogenic in nature. So after discussing a world of eubacteria, let us discuss a very special kind of the members of Monera kingdom, that is Archaea. Archaea has very different kind of cell wall. It is neither taking primary stain nor taking secondary stain. It gives a very confused kind of picture when we stain it. Similarly, it has a very different kind of nutritional requirement. It do not use glucose as a source of carbon. It has a very specific special materials for this as a source of carbon. Like you would have heard that if oil spills, a set of bacteria is sprinkled over that oil and that bacteria degrade that oil and it cleans the environment. So what those bacteria do? Those bacteria, they consume oil as a source of carbon instead of glucose. उनको मीठा पसंद नहीं है, वो क्या करते हैं, कार्बन सोर्स के लिए कुछ अलग खाते हैं, कुछ डिफरेंट. So वो मीठे के लिए glucose is sweet, मीठा, so they don't want that. So that group is Archaea group. So Archaea group is basically divided into three classes majorly. The halophiles. The halophiles are the organisms which love salt. So they live in salty water and they consume salts, different kind of salts as a source of carbon. Similarly, thermophiles. Thermophiles are the kind of organisms which live in hot springs, hot water, and they can survive at a very high temperature. Usually bacteria die after 28 degrees. If there is a raise in temperature up to 42 degrees, they will die. But normal eubacteria we are talking about, sometimes pathogens can survive up to 42 degrees, but not beyond that. But these bacteria, they can survive very well up to 90 degrees, 110 degrees, that kind. So very extreme environment they live, and they are resistant to high temperatures. They live in high temperature. They thrive very well over there. Methanogens, the third kind of bacteria, we all have heard about it. So methanogens, they survive on methane. So this methane is their source of carbon. Well, so methanogens are very useful to us. Thermophiles, they are useful tool in recombinant DNA technology or genetic engineering. And halophiles, they are very well curing various kind of skin diseases also. So they are very useful group of bacteria. Now here we end with Monera kingdom. I hope you have understood everything about Monera kingdom, right from classification on the basis of simple criteria. You enjoyed the classification given by Woese in the form of eubacteria and Archaebacteria, eubacteria, सारे के सारे microorganisms normal वाले. लेकिन Archaebacteria, the organisms which are special, they don't like sweet, they like different taste of food like salt. They live in very high temperature, extreme conditions, living in Antarctica, living in hot springs. And methanogens, right from producing gobar gas to living in the ruminant animals intestinal cavity, these all are Archaebacteria. So in next class we will meet again. Till then I'll take a leave, but before leaving, you have to subscribe my channel and like the video. Till then, bye bye.